So lately, I've been having a bit of a problem, and I'm kind of curious as to how other people deal with this issue. For instance, have you ever stood there looking at your shelf full of games and just freeze up? You want to play something? You've even got the time, but you can't decide what. You pick up one box, think about setting it up, but then you wonder if another game would be more fun. And before you know it, you've spent 20, 30 minutes scrolling through rolls or staring at the covers, and you end up just turning on YouTube instead. Well, that's me pretty often lately. And it's weird because I love solo gaming, but I think I've hit the point where having too many options actually makes it harder to enjoy the hobby. I know that it sounds kind of silly to complain about too many options. I mean, now there are games for every mood, every theme, and every genre. But in reality, that freedom starts to feel more like pressure. When every game promises a totally different experience, you start second guessing your decisions, or at least I do. What if I pick the wrong one? What if I waste my limited free time on the less fun choice? And since I'm usually playing solo, there's no one else there to nudge me to say, let's just play this one. It's all on me, which somehow makes it even harder to just start. And somewhere along the way, I think I stopped being just a player. It became more of a collector. I'll get excited about a new game, watch some reviews, order it, and then sometimes it just sits there still in the shrink wrap. And the weird thing is, I still feel like I've gotten something from buying it. That little dopamine hit of ownership. Some retail therapy. But the actual experience, learning the rules, setting it up, playing it, getting the miniatures painted, that takes real time and energy. So instead of enjoying and diving deeper into the games that I already have, I just keep browsing for the next one. And I think like most people, I only have so much free time, maybe an hour at night or a small window on the weekend. And if half that time gets eaten up by indecision, the hobby starts feeling stressful instead of relaxing. And I easily get overwhelmed by decision paralysis. I'm constantly worried, am I picking the right one? Is this going to be the most fun one? Or should I pick another game? What if I start playing this one and it's not as much fun as I thought it was going to be? I bet the other one would probably be more fun, but I don't know about that one either. And it just goes on and spirals out of control sometimes. And I definitely don't want the hobby to become something that stresses me out. And constantly switching between games so frequently and not really getting to know the ones that I have creates other problems. And especially whenever I'm playing a multitude of different games, it's easy to get the rules just mixed up. And if I'm not spending a lot of time playing one particular game for a while, then it's just not sinking in. The rules aren't sticking with me. And since there's no group waiting on me to play, it's easy to say, I'll play it tomorrow. But then tomorrow turns into a week, and the game that I originally wanted to play ends up sitting on the shelf, not being played. And maybe another problem that's causing me to purchase so many new games is the fear of missing out. Every day, there's new Kickstarters, a deluxe edition, a reprint, or an expansion. And all of these shiny new releases make older games on the shelf look a little less fun. Even though sometimes I've bought expansions and they add nothing to the core game, and I've gotten burned on them. And one thing with Kickstarters is if you do not back these games at the time of the Kickstarter, sometimes they're near impossible to get afterwards. And that's also a problem. It's like the hobby keeps whispering, you're missing out on something better. And that makes it really hard to just sit down and be content with what I already own. I end up constantly chasing the next perfect solo experience instead of actually playing the ones that I have. And I know that this all sounds extremely silly, but it's something that I've been struggling with lately, where instead of playing, I'm just trying to decide what to play. And then I end up getting frustrated and playing nothing, or I find ways to procrastinate making that decision. So lately I've been trying to think of how I can fix this situation and maybe find some peace in less. What if instead of trying to play everything, I just focused on a few of my favorites. There's something kind of great about knowing a game inside and out. Not just the rules, but the little rhythms and choices that make it click. When you replay a game, it stops being about learning and starts being more about playing. You can actually really dive in and feel the experience of the characters. It's smoother, more immersive, and honestly, it's more fun. For me, there are a few games I keep going back to. The ones that don't overwhelm me, they're not overly complicated. I can set up and play almost without thinking. Games that are more familiar to me instead of this endless variety of new games. So here are some things that I've been doing to try to fix this situation. And please let me know down in the comments what you do to help you make decisions on what you're going to play with your limited time. Because as I mentioned, I'm struggling with it. I've started doing a 1 game a week rule, where I only focus on one solo game for a full week. No switching, no new ones, and it's really helped me reconnect with some of my favorite games, because I'm actually getting to play instead of constantly trying to decide. And if I'm really struggling to make a decision at this point, I simply make a random table with all of their names on it and roll for it. Just like I would if I was actually playing a game that had a bunch of random tables on it for encounters or such. Why not make the decision to be part of the game? I've also really tried to limit myself to buying new games. Maybe set a challenge to go a full month without buying any new games. And I tell you what, with the price of Kickstarters lately that just keep going up and up, this challenge has actually gotten a little bit easier. But maybe pricing is a topic for another video. Now, it's been a real challenge though to look at my shelf and remind myself, okay, this is enough. So at the end of the day, I don't think the problem is owning too many games or having too many options. It's forgetting to really enjoy and get the most out of the ones that we already have. It's to have fun, to relax, and to escape for a little while. Maybe the next great solo experience isn't in a new box or a pre-order email. Maybe it's already sitting on the shelf waiting for you to finally play it again. But yeah, this is something that I've been struggling with a lot lately, and I just thought it was worth talking about. And I genuinely am curious as to how you all feel about this and how you deal with it. If there's any tips or tricks, I'd love to know it, because if it can reduce my amount of stress in picking a game or continuing to buy new games that I'm not really going to play, I think that it would be really helpful to hear how other people are dealing with this. But who knows, maybe I'm just overthinking the whole thing. I mean, I'm just a guy trying to make videos on YouTube and talk about things that I think are worth discussing. But at the end of the day, these are all just my opinion. So I just want to say thanks for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.